Okay, I want to talk to you about the type of material we're going to be using for the class. Personally, I'm often using things like markers. You know, these are markers, felt tip pens. I'm using pastels in different ways, chalks, and I'm using a lot of color pencil as well. But the problem with using different materials is you don't have you're not used to it, and we don't have time to kind of train on how to use paintbrushes and markers, etc. So we're just going to use pencils. Everyone knows what a pencil is. From the age of 3, kids draw with color pencils. So everyone knows what it is. And you can actually do quite a lot with a single color pencil on white paper. These drawings are done just like that. If you notice, there's a lot of the white of the paper coming through the drawing. So it makes it quicker to do, more efficient, and it takes less time and less material. So you win all round, okay? All of these are just monochrome, single color with a red pencil used in some instances to indicate section lines. But otherwise, they're just done with a single pencil. Okay. Now, the pencils themselves, of course, they come in all sorts of different qualities and types, as many things do. This is the sort of pencil you're given either in a restaurant or by an airline to keep your kids quiet, so they can colour in with this. And the quality is very poor. That's how they can afford to give them away. So this should be avoided. Anything that looks like this, these sparkly little bits of graphic on a pink background, well, I think if you find this in your little sister's pencil drawer, leave it there. You've got other things which are kind of chunky, can be quite nice to hold. Personally, I favour this. This is a Faber-Castell Polychromo. You can always use something like Caran d'Ache, which is also pretty good quality. There's something from the Migros which is called Biel color. I don't know if I have one here. This is not very good. And anything that says something like this, natural artist, well, probably you avoid as well. Okay. Now, you can buy a big set of colour pencils with loads of colours, but the problem is, for what we want to do, most of these colours you're not going to be able to use. You're going to need a certain darkness of tone. If I take something like this on white paper, and you can't really see it very well because there's no contrast. If I put in a background color, then we can start seeing that it is in fact a banana. Okay, but the grey I'm using here to put in that background color gives me obviously a lot more tonal range, and the most, of course, would be a black. So what you should do is get yourself a nice color, and you can buy a range of these, say 6 pencils, exactly the same. If it's a quality pencil, like a Caran d'Ache, or in this case, a Faber-Castell, and you go to a art supply shop or a stationer, you can buy them individually. Okay, so you can pick a color you want, nice dark tone. I personally prefer something like this, a gray or a dark blue. I find green not so designery, but that's a personal thing. And you, as I say, you can buy a series the same color. Now this is interesting afterwards, because then you can compare the drawings you do one to the other, and you're only assessing the design and maybe the drawing quality, which of course is going to increase, and the color is not going to influence. Like, you're not going to think, hey, I prefer my red sketch to my blue one because I prefer red. The color is not playing a role in any kind of preference. Okay, so you can just assess the sketches and not the influence of the color on them. Now, you can use normal white photocopy paper or print paper. We're going to need A4 and A3 because of this bus is a fairly big thing, and it's going to be a lot easier to do A3 sketches as well. What I'm using here is, this is a marker paper, okay, marker papier. Now, it's formulated specially for markers such as this, and there is a coating on the back to stop the marker coming through. If I use a normal photocopy paper, the marker will bleed through, and this has a kind of wax coating on the back, which of course using color pencils we don't need. But the quality of the paper, it's a smoother texture, and it's actually better than photocopy paper. Another advantage is it is more transparent, which is going to be an advantage later, so we can actually see through it. Because if you do a first sketch and then you want to develop the design, you can put that underneath and sketch over. Whereas photocopy paper, there still is an element of transparency, but it's not as transparent as, say, a marker pad. Another type of paper is layout, which is similar. This is also marker fest, so it also has a coating on the back. It's a similar weight, but it's sometimes even more transparent than marker paper. So if you want to invest in this, either a layout paper or marker pad, you can. The quality should be better. But if you just want to stay with normal copy paper, that's also okay. And this is of course easier to find. Marker paper and layout paper, you're going to have to go into an art or stationer's specialist shop to find. Whereas print or photocopy paper, A4, A3, is going to be a lot easier. So, to recap, you want some colour pencils and a red, which is going to be good for section lines. You're going to need a sharpener as well. This is a very nice one. And one other thing which is going to be useful is an eraser like this, which is quite precise. So you have the eraser, it's almost like a lead which comes out. Or an eraser for typewriters, which you can sharpen so you can get more precision. Another thing which is nice to have is this. This is a simple tube made by Caran d'Ache. It means that when my pencil is getting really short, instead of having to struggle to hold it like this, I can put it in this tube and it's more comfortable. So I can get more mileage out of my pencil. I used to work with a guy who used to draw, if even shorter than this, you know, about this size. And he would like do beautiful work. But I prefer to have something which is more supported in the hand. So that is the material essentially we're going to be using. Very simple, low investment for you, and relatively easy to find. Okay.